Flowchart math, hard trinomial. To factor 2x squared minus 11x plus 15, we treat it kind of like we did an easy trinomial. So recall, in an easy trinomial, we put an x here and an x here. But the problem is, if you think about distributive property, that's not going to make your 2x squared. And so what we're going to do instead is we're going to put a 2x here. Because when we distribute, 2x times x is going to give me 2x squared. Otherwise, we do a very similar process. I want to find two numbers that multiply to 15. But what you notice is those numbers don't add up to 11. You can't make those numbers add up to 11 until you consider the distributive property again. In the distributive property, we would take this 2x times this x and this 2x times whatever is in this position over here, and that's the key. Whatever number is over here is getting multiplied by 2, and so that's what we have to do, is we have to figure out how we can multiply one of those numbers by 2, and then they'll add up to 11. So think about this. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 15, that's 17. That's not going to go. You subtract them, you get 15 minus 2 is 13. So just play around with the numbers. 15 times 2 is 30, plus 1 is 31. I don't think that's it. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 5 is 11. Aha, that looks like that's going to work. So now consider the signs. We want two numbers to multiply to positive 15, but in order to add up to the negative, they're both going to have to be negative. And so think about it. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6, plus the negative 5 is negative 11. That's going to work. That's going to produce my middle term of negative 11. So what's really, really important to do is to keep in mind that distributive property. When I distribute that 2, this number is the place that's getting multiplied by that 2. So you have to put that negative 3 in that position. And then the negative 5 is going to go over here. All right, now that is the answer. I would recommend that you check your answer here and just check my distributive property. If I distribute that 2x, I'd have 2x squared minus 6x, and then distribute the minus 5, that's negative 5x plus 15. And then you look at your like terms there, that makes negative 11x. So sure enough, if we distribute our answer, we're going to end up back where we started with 2x squared minus 11x plus 15. Now that's not your answer. That's just kind of check. That's checking your work. Your answer is already boxed in. It's quantity 2x minus 5 times the quantity x minus 3. Let's do another one. When you see a number like this 6, which is not prime, it makes the problem even more complicated. Most people, when they look at this, they're going to jump straight to, well, that's got to be 6x and x. And that's possible. But since 6 is non-prime, there's another possibility that it could also be 3x and 2x. So we've got extra things that we have to think about. But otherwise, I want to do pretty much the same process. Find two numbers that multiply to 12. But you're going to notice they don't add up to 17, and they don't add up to 17 because of that distributive property. So let's consider the first possibility. If the first one is true, then when you distribute that 6, whatever goes here is getting multiplied by 6. So what I would recommend you do is just kind of play around with the 6 over here. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 12 is 18. That doesn't work. Okay. 6 times 12 is 72, plus 1. That's way too big. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 6 is 18. 6 times 6 is 36. That's going to be way too big. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 4 is 22. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 3 is 27. I don't think any of those work. And so I don't think that is going to be my answer. I'm going to go down and I'm going to look at the other possibility. The other possibility, if you think about that distributive property, you're going to end up having this number over here gets multiplied by 3, and this number right here gets multiplied by the 2. Think about that distributive property. And so what we've got then are two things. One of the numbers is getting multiplied by 3, and one of them is multiplied by 2. So again, I would just ask you to play around with the numbers there. 3 times 1 is 3, and 2 times 12 is 24. That's going to make, what, 27? That's not going to work. So you can switch them around and say that's going to be 2 plus 36 is 38. That's not going to work. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 18, that's 22. No. That's going to be 6 plus 12 is 18. No, that doesn't work. 3 times 3 is 9, and 4 times 2 is 8. 9 and 8 make 17. Ooh, that looks like that's going to work. Okay, now we have it. That's going to work. So what you have to do is just be sure that the number on this side is the one that's getting multiplied by the 3. So your green number 3 is right there, okay? And the number on this side is the one that's getting multiplied by the 2, and so that's the 4. Okay, so let me rewrite that because I know that's kind of a mess. We've got 3x plus 4 times 2x plus 3, and that is actually our answer. But you would probably want to check that, and so you can check that by distributing it back out. 3x times 2x is 6x squared, 3x times 3 is plus 9x, 4 times 2x is plus 8x, and 4 times 3 is plus 12. If you look at your like terms, that's 17x, that's the middle. 6x squared plus 17x plus 12 is correct, and that's it.